This broadcast details how an 8-year-old musical prodigy from Norway rejected the commercial pop industry to become one of the most respected recording artists in the United States right now. We analyze the specific timeline, data, and critical decisions that allowed Jordan to bypass the typical child star trajectory to establish a sustainable global career by 2026. Born in Oslo on January 10, 2006, her distinct vocal journey began at a remarkably early age. Family members noted she started singing around 18 months old. Modern pop radio did not dictate her artistic direction. Her maternal grandmother introduced the young singer to classic American jazz instead. This early exposure cultivated a mature, classic jazz and soul tonality within her. What followed next was a vocal evolution that would eventually draw heavy comparisons to legendary figures like Billie Holiday. She built a solid foundation on musical authenticity early on. This historical grounding established the permanent framework for everything that followed in her career, setting the definitive stage for her global television debut and lasting musical legacy. Global attention first surrounded the young vocalist in 2014 during a televised national talent competition. 8-year-old auditioned for Norway's Got Talent, bringing her unique jazz sensibilities to a mainstream audience while challenging standard expectations of what a child performer could deliver. Her presence on the broadcast culminated on May 23, 2014, when she won the entire competition outright. Victory shattered existing viewer records across the country. Industry professionals immediately recognized they were witnessing an unusual phenomenon unfold on live television. During her tenure on the program, the judging panel offered unprecedented praise. One judge famously told the young performer directly, "You are music." Another panelist looked straight at the studio audience and declared, "We have a superstar." And this is where things changed for the newly crowned winner. Sudden fame brought intense scrutiny and pressure from corporate entertainment entities. The broadcast victory effectively launched her into the public eye, forcing her family to make immediate choices regarding her future. She stood at a critical crossroads between instant commercial wealth and long-term artistic integrity. Post-victory reality often pushes young talent into rapid, highly controlled commercialization pathways. The primary friction in his professional career began immediately following her 2014 national television win, when multiple record deal requests arrived from executives eager to capitalize on her sudden fame. The music industry wanted to manufacture the young prodigy into a standard pop act. They intended to leverage her youth for immediate financial returns. In a move that defined her artistic integrity, her family actively turned those lucrative deals down. They flatly refused to conform to a prepackaged commercial pop mold. The turning point came when she decided to step away from mainstream television entirely. Instead of cashing in on viral fame, she chose an independent route. She spent the years from 2014 to 2019 quietly building a massive global online following through jazz and soul covers on YouTube. By rejecting the industry machinery, she retained complete creative control over her vocal development. This deliberate isolation from corporate pop structures allowed her authentic sound to mature naturally without external interference. Staggering viewership numbers defined this entirely independent era of her digital career. She operated outside the traditional studio system while accumulating an audience that rivaled established pop stars. On April 22, 2016, she uploaded a rendition of Back to Black that currently sits at over 13.8 million views. A few months later, on September 26, 2016, she released a studio cover of I Put a Spell on You that generated more than 13 million views. These consistent viral hits proved her jazz interpretations carried massive global appeal. What followed next was the establishment of her most recognizable performance, Trademark. She began performing entirely barefoot. Fans often discuss various origin stories regarding this specific stylistic choice. Within the broader context of her developing career, however, performing barefoot became a powerful, deliberate symbol of staying grounded, humble, and fiercely authentic to her chosen art form. It provided a very real way for her to physically distance herself from the manufactured, heavily styled image typically forced upon young performers. This visual distinction reinforced her commitment to raw musicality over superficial industry aesthetics. Humanitarian efforts occupied a significant portion of her time during these quiet years away from mainstream television. The young artist remained incredibly active in philanthropy while simultaneously developing her digital footprint, ultimately receiving the prestigious honor of performing twice for the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony. Her vocal talents also helped raise over 25 million euros in Germany for children in need. She executed the grueling schedule of a seasoned professional, but she did it entirely on her own terms. And this is where things changed regarding her public perception. Observers realized she possessed a drive that extended far beyond self-promotion. She famously explained her internal motivation by stating, "I want to sing for the whole world." She confirmed that singing remained as important as breathing to her. This period also her barefoot performance trademark. The physical act of removing her shoes separated her from the glittering costumes associated with youth pageants. She maintained a strict focus on vocal delivery rather than visual spectacle. This combination of global charity work and stripped-down performance style earned her profound respect across international borders. global spotlight beckoned once again as the new decade commenced. By 2020, she felt prepared to re-enter the mainstream television arena. She officially entered America's Got Talent, the champions as a young adult. The turning point came when she stepped onto that stage, firmly establishing her transition from a viral youth sensation to a serious, mature recording artist. Her selected performance of Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody delivered in musical maturity. This presentation bypassed the boundaries of a simple cover song. It served as a reimagined, stripped-down emotional arrangement that she conceptualized entirely by herself. The judging panel immediately registered the gravity of the performance. Judge simply called the rendition incredible, specifically praising the vocalist for displaying a clear, undeniable artistic identity. The presentation ultimately earned her the coveted golden buzzer from. Recalling that exact moment, stated the falling confetti felt like millions of gold stars. She called it the absolute best moment of her life. The television return successfully validated her years of independent musical study. Corporate partnerships finally aligned with her creative vision during that exact same year. Having held out for the right opportunity, she reached a major career milestone at age 14. She officially signed a contract with Republic Records under the United Music Group umbrella. She had successfully waited for a major label that explicitly agreed to let her maintain her authentic jazz and soul sound without demanding commercial pop compromises. They prioritized her artistic integrity rather than pushing her toward artificial commercial gain. What followed next was a rapid succession of professional studio releases. This long-awaited partnership immediately yielded tangible results for her growing fan base. In November 2020, she released her debut original single titled Million Miles. Another original track, Seventh Heaven, reached audiences in March 2021. For these specific productions, she collaborated directly with Tor, and this Grammy-winning production duo operates professionally under the name. She officially stood as a professional recording artist working alongside top-tier industry hitmakers. Her patience with the industry machinery had finally generated the exact outcome she always wanted. Industry royalty quickly took notice of the expanding original catalog she produced. Legendary producer Quincy Jones personally recognized her unique vocal style among a sea of modern performers, eventually inviting her to perform as his opening and closing act. She received the distinct honor of performing alongside the legendary musician. This endorsement from a historical music icon established her status as a legitimate vocal force. Her original catalog continued to grow consistently over the following years. On May 4, 2023, she released the video for her track Love Don't Let Me Go. The visual project went on to garner over 15 million views across platforms, and this is where things changed for her long-term trajectory. She proved she could generate massive numbers with her own compositions, not just classic covers. The analytics from 2026 show a highly established artist gaining sustained traction. She operates completely free from the dangerous reliance on viral spikes that trap many internet-era performers. Her career architecture now relies on a dedicated audience that consumes her new material just as eagerly as her historical television performances. She broke the mold entirely. Digital dominance characterizes her exact standing in the entertainment landscape today. According to 2026 data sourced from and the Uncarved blog, Jordan has amassed an astronomical digital footprint exceeding 4 billion total views across platforms. She holds these billions of views online across all available platforms and documented performances. This metric includes a massive presence on Facebook, where she retains over 2 billion views alone. The turning point came when analysts reviewed her dedicated channels in the second quarter of 2026. Utilizing metrics from and reports indicate her YouTube presence boasts approximately 986,000 subscribers. Her channel view count exceeds 123.6 million. On Tik, she maintains a formidable presence featuring 1 million followers and 11.7 million cumulative likes. Her Instagram account holds a highly engaged audience of roughly 869,300 dedicated followers. These statistics prove her transition into a permanent staple of the modern music industry. She commands an audience size that rivals heavily manufactured pop acts, yet she achieved these milestones through an independent, jazz-focused vocal methodology. Audio streaming data confirms her total escape from the child star curse. As of April 2026, she maintains approximately 729,600 monthly listeners on. A foundational base of nearly 379,300 followers directly supports this ongoing monthly. Her self-arranged rendition of Bohemian Rhapsody leads her catalog with roughly 31 million streams. The acoustic version of Fly Me to the Moon holds 23.2 million plays, while her original track Love Don't Let Me Go remains incredibly strong at 15.4 million streams. What followed next in the data analysis revealed a fascinating geographical twist, proving that her jazz-infused vocal style resonates most powerfully outside her native country. Despite her Norwegian heritage, her largest listener bases reside completely across international borders. According to 2026 data, the United States represents her #1 demographic at 20.98%. Brazil follows at 11.49%, and Indonesia holds 7.95%. Jordan masterfully architected a career built purely on authenticity. By holding on to her grandmother's jazz influence and demanding label respect, she secured her position as one of the most deeply respected artists working in music today.